Extraordinary person in every possible negative way. Yes, the person who runs the New Hampshire Libertarian Twitter account, he's a neo-Nazi. He also said anyone who attempts to kill Kamala Harris would be a hero. He was visited by the FBI. J.D. Vance tried to follow up on it. Vance claims difference between Dems and Republicans is, quote, no one has tried to kill Kamala Harris. To me, what I'm registering from this, the feeling I'm getting from this, is that they're upset nobody's really tried it, which is obviously true, but like they're getting pretty obvious with it, you know? 2 times now, there's been an attempt on Donald Trump's life, and Republicans have had to bear the indignity of finding out that it was a white Republican male. 2 times. Do you have any idea how unlikely that is? Of course, white Republican males are the types of people most likely to do these kinds of like unhinged political attacks. But yeah, they're waiting. They want it to be a minority. They want it to be a transgender. They want it to be a homosexual. They want it to be a black person. And they just haven't gotten what they've wanted yet. You know, they want something to get happen with. Because you know if a white boy took a crack at Kamala Harris, they would just make jokes about it, right? Like they did with Paul Pelosi. They wouldn't give a shit. Oh yeah, I saw the Happy Roadkill comic too. Officials say the man behind the second Trump assassination was a minority. Another Caucasian Republican. You know, it hurts. You gotta feel bad for them. Instant tummy ache. Werewolf Jester. I couldn't have said it better myself. Sounds like you're constipated. Well, they are. It's all the pain in their gut, you know? Can they imagine what they would do if it was a trans person? They're so desperate for it to be a trans person that every single time a white male shoots up a school, they're like, oh, it was trans. They were trans. They've done this with everyone. They said the first shooter was trans. They said the shooter in Georgia recently was trans because he had long hair. Like they don't care. They're gonna start calling people black. They're gonna have a shooter who's got my skin tone, and they're gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know. I've seen less tan people. They're drooling for it. They are. You need to read about the shooter and how deranged he is. Excuse me, it's called having aura. He was rejected from fighting in Ukraine for being unstable. Literally, Annie.
The man accused of trying to assassinate Donald Trump left this: a rifle with a scope or sight attached, 2 rucksacks, and a GoPro camera attached to a fence. The Secret Service says that at around 1:30 p.m. local time, the man was seen hiding in bushes close to holes 5, 6 and 7 of the Trump International Golf Course in Palm Beach, Florida. You can see there are trees and bushes between the course and the 2 roads along the perimeter. Authorities estimate the man was between 300 and 500 yards from Donald Trump. The man then fled, but a member of the public saw him getting into his car and told police. Shortly afterwards, the police stopped him on the I-95 highway. This image, released by the police, shows the vehicle
like that, huh? Imagine snitching like that. Not cool.
After it had been stopped. According to sources speaking to CBS, the man is Ryan Routh, and BBC verifiers identified several social media accounts that match that name and has cross-referenced them with an image of a man allegedly being arrested at the scene. In 2020, this post from Ryan Routh criticizes Donald Trump and says he voted for him in 2016.
No, read the whole thing verbatim, you coward. While you were my choice in 2016, I and the world hoped that President Trump would be different and better than the candidate, but we were all greatly disappointed, and it seems you are getting worse and devolving. Are you retarded? I will be glad when you gone. Aura. Oh, sorry, 2106. My apologies.
But we all were greatly disappointed. I will be glad when you're gone, he writes. More recently, he's been heavily involved in recruiting foreign fighters to come to Ukraine to join the war against Russia. Last year, he was featured in a New York Times article about international volunteers in Ukraine. There are also posts about COVID, accusing China of biological warfare, and there are pro-Taiwan and pro-Palestinian messages too. Ryan Routh is now in custody in Florida, suspected of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump.
Everyone in the Ukraine volunteer community was calling this guy out as a scammer months ago. He's just a schizo. I might be projecting memories that aren't actually there, but I genuinely feel like I remember seeing his face at some point in the past. Because I know that I've covered news of, or at least seen people complaining about grifters in the Ukrainian volunteer. NATO Andy. Yeah. Well, what matters most, he tried to recruit a bunch of Afghans to fight with him in Ukraine, lol. That's pretty funny. So he's politically incomprehensible. I mean, his views overall were pretty right-wing. He's just also a nut job. You know, he wrote a book about the Ukraine war. Pretty active member of Ukraine's Unwinnable War, the fatal flaw of democracy, world abandonment, and the global citizen, Taiwan, Afghanistan, North Korea, and the end of humanity. That's the title. And then the description of the book seems to just be text from the book, and this is indeed just schizo writing. I can confirm I don't need to read the entire thing. This is schizo writing. He invited Kim Jong-un to visit him in Hawaii. Well, who amongst us hasn't done that? Either way, this probably isn't going to be the last time this has happened, but one of two things is going to happen eventually, right? Either someone is going to take a shot at Trump, who is not a white Republican male, or someone's going to take a shot at Kamala Harris. And as soon as one of those two things happen, the dynamic is going to change quite a bit and rapidly as well. So yeah, everyone cross your fingers that the next like 17 times we wake up to headlines with someone being wacky, it's a white Republican male. You know, wherever everyone loves to play this game, they do it from both ends. Where for the Republicans, it's like minority, 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 and from our side, it's not a minority, not a minority. And so far, we're winning. We're crossing our fingers much harder.